Hi everyone, Amali from Lifespan Nutrition here. We're here this week for workshop 2 of our Motivate Your Mind series on becoming healthier and happier and the mindset that we need to make that happen. So this week's topic is taking stock of our current health. And I know when I want to make change in my life, I kind of tend to run headlong into it and think about all the changes I've got to make, rather than looking back and looking at why I want to make the changes, what will happen if I make them, what won't happen, where I've come from, and all of the kind of the habits and things that got me into where I am now. Because when we look at change, it's great to we all take off really well, we've got the best of intentions, but we tend to fall into our default habits and modes of thinking when times get tough or when we're tired, and that's how we fall back into bad habits. So having your eyes fixed on the goal around why you want to make the change, and visualizing that can be a really powerful thing in making change. So I wanted to talk everyone through some of the things that we want to think about when we make change, and I really strongly recommend, if you want to make a change to your health, sit down and write down the answers to these questions. And if you want me to want to get a copy of them typed up, just go to the link that I'll share below in the comments, click on it, and I'll send you just a weekly update of what's happening and what's happened in our workshop, what we've talked about, and all the questions and things, and links to the video again. I'll do that after this. So I can't take too long today. I've got to be succinct, which is usually not me. I like to ramble, but I've got a client coming in at 4:15 and it's 3:55. So let's get started. So when looking at our changes, it starts by identifying why we want to change. So it's important to write that down. If you don't know why you want to change, you've really got to consider whether you need to make a change. So why do we want to change? Why do we need to change? Is there something with our health? Is something not working for us that we actually need to change? What are the benefits of the change as well? So it's a few questions you can ask yourself. It's always confronting when you go through all the aspects of your health or anything in your life and you rank it on a scale of 1 to 10. So 1 being dismal and not happy with it, and 10 being absolutely happy, you could not improve it any further. So look over your situation now, but look at it over maybe the last 6 to 12 months, and I want you to rank these things. So how do you feel about your body? What's your body image on a scale of 1 to 10? So interestingly, for a nutritionist and someone who's fairly healthy, when I did this at the start of the year, I'm just going to pull up mine, I ranked my body as a 4. I was not happy with how I was at the start of the year. So the things that I wasn't happy with were my default habits. So I thought about exercise a lot, but I didn't necessarily go and exercise a lot, not consistently. So I might plan to go, I might have it in my calendar a few days a week, and then I'd wake up and actually not go. So on the face of it, I was like, yeah, I've got exercise on my calendar, like it's going to happen, but it wasn't happening, and it hadn't happened for quite a while. Like I might have got to the gym once a week, done a run, but it wasn't the level I wanted it to be. And because of that, I wasn't seeing the body kind of strength that I wanted to see. So this year I've committed to doing a lot more strength training to get stronger in my upper body. And get rid of these wings that happen as you kind of get a bit older. I also wasn't happy with what my food was doing. I ate relatively well, but there were a few extra treats that had snuck in there, and with the lower exercise and the rewards for getting through a tough day being a mum, running my own business, things like that, I was like, I deserve a reward, but it became too much of a habit. So that contributed to me ranking myself a 4 out of 10 for my body image. So I had to set myself some goals around that. So how do you feel about your body on a scale of 1 to 10? Are you 100% happy? There's no changes you want to make, or are you rock bottom? Where are you on that scale? So next, to do with health, is looking at our sleep. What's the quality of your sleep like? Do you get enough sleep? Are you restful when you sleep? Are you waking frequently? Do you get up early? Do you not go to bed at a great time for you? So looking at those things and ranking that. Then we want to look at our current level of exercise on a scale of 1 to 10. So do you exercise? And it doesn't have to be getting out to the gym or running or anything like that. It's daily getting out with a purpose to get your heart rate up. Do you go for a walk? Do you ride a bike? Do you? I met with someone earlier today who said that he had been doing salsa in front of his TV. I think it was salsa or Latin. I can't quite remember, but I thought the image was quite funny. This is an ex-bodybuilder. He said he's been dancing in front of his TV to just move his body and get his heart rate up. He also mentioned that he's got a treadmill in his kitchen, and he jumps on that if he feels like he's been a bit bad. So I thought that was quite funny. You don't want to punish yourself, but looking at your exercise, where are you? On a scale of 1 to 10, are you getting enough movement? Do you think you could get more? Are you 100% happy with the exercise that you are getting? Or are you getting absolutely no movement? So we've covered how we feel about our body. We've covered our quality of sleep. We've covered our level of exercise. What's your water intake like? So every time I talk to people, they say, yeah, I drink a lot. You know, I might fill up my water bottle and I sip on it all day. This is 1 litre. This is not enough water for a day. So I've been pretty bad today. What time is it? It's 4 o'clock and I'm about here. This is a nice Lorna Jane one, courtesy of my friend Sarah, who owns Sports Power in Kuma in the Blue Mountains. And I love it because it's got these little lines here. I can tell where it is. I fill it up, I take it with me, but I make sure I drink 2 of them a day, 2 minimum. And that's in addition to all the other accidental, coffees and teas and things that I get. So really important. What's your water intake like? Water is required for all of the chemical reactions in our body. And so we want to make sure we're getting enough of it. If we don't get enough water, our bodies start to slow down because we can't do the chemical reactions that we need. And our brains slow down. I think that's what's happening to me today. I had to get up very, very early this morning to work on a client plan. So what's your water intake like? Could it be better, or are you super duper hydrated? What would you class the quality of the food that you nourish your body with? So do you eat consistently? Do you eat at consistent times of day? Do you eat regular meals? Do you snack? Do you eat fruit, vegetables, grains, high calcium foods? Do you get enough carbohydrate? Do you get enough protein? Do you get enough fat? Or do you just have no idea? It's a shambles. You just kind of reach for what's in the kitchen. Where are you on that scale? And this is all how you feel about it. You know, you might have 2 people who rank themselves completely different, but could the quality of the food that you nourish with your body with be better? Or do are you at the pinnacle? If you're at the pinnacle, I'm not sure what you're doing watching this video. You could probably come in here and we can do an interview for people. Let me know. So our body image, our sleep quality, our exercise, our water intake, the quality of the food, and then what's our stress level like? Be honest here. Even if you feel like there's nothing you can change, what is your stress level like? What's your mental load? So a lot of people say to me, I'm not stressed, but they've got a huge mental load. What are you thinking about? Those chairs in your head, I think they say on average, is it like 5 plus or minus 2 things you can think about at a time? And even in modern society, they're saying that it's even less now. It can be 3 plus or minus 2. And so if you've only got 3 chairs in your head, are they always full? If you've got 7 in your head, are they always full? Do you ever have anything empty? Do you take time for yourself to fill your cup? Not just sitting on the couch, scrolling on your phone, relaxing, because that's still stressful. Do you have time where you fill your cup? Do you go and read a book? Do you sit in nature? Do you watch Netflix? Do you go and exercise? Do you catch up with friends? All of those things, rather than being plugged in and constantly bombarded with incoming stuff from people and social media and things. What's that stress level like? Are you taking your work home with you? Are you, work, eat, sleep, repeat? Is that your life? So rank yourself 1 to 10. Are you super duper chilled, or up this end, are you super duper stressed? because that plays a huge part in your health. If you're stressed, if you've got a huge mental load, your cortisol levels will be very, very high, and that affects how you eat. It affects when you exercise, when you're in that state, you can just be driving them further. Inflammation in your body, more stress, more tension. And I used to be in that state. I lived in that state for many, many years, and I loved exercise. I loved being, bombarded with information. I loved it, but it took its toll on my body. And it's taken me a long time to learn that I've actually got to take away from that. I've got to bring that dam down, or else my husband was just calling. I never want to be one of those people that, gets in my car and drives it through the front of a building because I'm so angry. So that was our stress levels. And then how do you currently feel about your overall health? Is there, something niggling? Even if you don't know what it is, would you change something? Is your health where it should be? Or do you feel like there's room for growth there? And be really honest with yourself. Some things, I rated a few things when I went through in my life as a 1, a 2, things like that. Other aspects, friendships and self-worth and work-life balance and stuff like that. So really, really important there. So we've ranked all of these things. So that's our current position. So really, really important before we go, I'm gonna exercise 5 days a week, or I'm gonna run a marathon, or I'm gonna do all these things because I think that I should be doing them, and I kind of feel like I should be working on my health. Really important to look at those and look at what aspects of my health do I really want to work on, and where am I? Is my water intake really low? Is my sleep quality the one thing? When you look at the whole picture, is there one area that stands out to you? And it's you might want to work on one area, or you might want to make a little mini goal for each area. But it's all about making sure that we don't pick a giant goal. Small bricks all together will build a wall, but you don't kind of start at the top of the wall. You've got to start at the bottom, and you've got to brick by brick work your way up. So moving on, we're still writing. What are 3 good healthy habits that you currently have? Do you drink a lot of water? Do you exercise? Do you have a vegetarian night at home? Do you make sure you get to bed super early? The quality of sleep before midnight is scientifically proven to be worth more than your quality of sleep after midnight. So do you get sleep on this side of midnight? Or are you on the other side? A lot of people say to me, I don't, I'm just gonna check the time. A lot of people say to me, I just can't get to sleep, I'm a real night owl. When I look at their diets, you can see all the caffeine they're intaking. And I'll rarely tell someone, don't drink a coffee, but you'll see it throughout the whole day, or it might be quite heavy up until midday, but then they're not sleeping. And they're like, it's not the caffeine. I challenge that. I went caffeine free for 12 months, and I got the best sleep of my life. And I don't usually drink coffee after 10 in the morning. And so it was still affecting me, 12 hours later. And throughout the night, I could get to sleep fairly well, but I was a frequent waker. So my sleep quality was dismal. I would have ranked it as a 0. I used to get 4 hours of broken sleep every night for many, many years. So what are the 3 good healthy habits though? What do you do well in your health, in your sleep, in your water, in your stress levels? Write them down. Now we're going to look at what are 3 unhealthy habits that you have. What are they? What pops into your head? And it can be anything. It's surprising, the first thing that comes in. Don't think too hard. What are those unhealthy habits? Write them down. What areas of your health would you like to change in the coming 12 months? You might have a clearer idea now that we've ranked those things of areas that you actually want to focus on. Because a lot of people think, I'm just going to go to the gym. I'm in the gym all the time. You get that fancy gym membership. You book your PT, and then you don't show up. Or you show up for a few weeks, you injure yourself because you've gone every day, and then you fall off the wagon. It's, March now? Most people's New Year's resolutions have gone out the window. And PTs and gyms are fantastic, but you've got to have the reason to be there, the discipline, and the goal in mind. Let's have a look. If there was one small thing for each of those areas that we ranked that you could change, what would it be? Let's write that down. So that's all I wanted to go through today. I wanted to get you thinking. I wanted to get you thinking about where you've come from, where you're going, what's working for you, what's serving you right now, and what's not serving you. Even if you can't change them, what are those things? There's lots of things in our lives that we seemingly can't change. People always used to say to me, well, why don't you do this, and why don't you do that, and why don't you do this? I said, no, I've thought about all of that. I can't, I've got to do all of these things. And I lived a very stressful life, but in hindsight, there were a lot of things that I could have done. But the first thing was admitting that it was a problem, which I wouldn't admit. So, be honest with yourself on your bit of paper at home, write it down. Feel free to share below if you've, in the comments, if there's anything that you've thought about has surprised you. And I'll also put a link down to sign up for the email to get a summary of what I discussed in those questions. So thanks. We'll be live again next Thursday, and I'll be loading these videos to YouTube as well once I figure out how to put a cover page on them, which I'm still working through. So thanks everyone. Have a beautiful Thursday and a great rest of the week.